I'm so dedicated to my destination. I'ma get it how I live it with no hesitation. See me making moves and all this training proves that I'm possible.
Welcome back to the MLXT YouTube channel. This is Micah Lancaster, and of course we are on the topic of training beginners. Now we're going to jump right into training shooting for beginners and what we call self shots. Now what we're going to be looking at is not something we created, it's been around for a while, but we're going to add a detail to it to make sure that we're holding players accountable to true mechanics and things that we want to be able to give them in the concept of shooting. Now, even though we're training beginners, this is a technique that can be used for anybody to test where you're at for your shooting. And so never look at things from a beginner to advanced perspective. Instead, look at it from how much detail is being given. Low amounts of details tends to be beginners. The more details we give, the more things will become advanced. And so we're going to be looking at important details, but we're not going to overload you with details. So let's go ahead and jump into self shots so you can see exactly how this can help your shot and your mechanics. Now, as we work on self shots, which is the concept of simply shooting the basketball to yourself, we're going to use this to work on our fluidity, we're going to work on our follow through and our focus, we're going to work on just our overall accuracy. Now, whenever we're doing a shot to ourselves, we're shooting the basketball straight up. Now, that's going to be too high. A lot of times people will stress elbow above eyes, and a lot of kids will take it way too far, and they'll be way back here. So understand when we're doing this, we're not actually getting players to shoot that way. What we want to just simply do is just get them to understand how to go all the way through their follow through and see how consistent they can be, because if the ball can always come back to you, you know your follow through is consistent. That should not be confused with how they're actually shooting the ball. A lot of times players will shoot and then they'll throw their arm back because they're trying to compensate for that and get to the wrong place. Now, what I want to do using our kids' grip mat is I actually want kids to jump when they do this, and they should be going just slightly forward. And so I don't want necessarily them to be going straight up and down. I have no problem with them going forward just a little bit. And so we're just going to keep them right there in their space. And then the ball should land right in their hands. And so what they can do is they can shoot to themselves and then hold their follow through and be able to catch it. Now, what that ability to shoot forward did was it got me a little bit less of shooting the ball straight up because I don't want to be here. And so now if I was to catch it, now I had to shoot a little bit forward. And so notice, I knew exactly where the ball would go. It was still in my control. I shot nice and high. And so I shoot, and then I can catch. Now notice, I'm trying to hold my follow through all the way until I catch it. This is a technique that's been around for a while. And basically, it's just all about control, focus, and attention to details. Because if I do this and then bring my hands down, now obviously, I'm not getting used to the mechanics that we want to be able to stress during a held follow through. Now, when it comes to self shots, there are simply ways that you can do this well and ways that you can do this poorly. And the ways that you can do this poorly is by standing in one place. As I mentioned, if you're shooting to yourself and the ball is pretty much just going straight up and down, your follow through tends to be a little bit high. And so the detail that we gave here that a player can still handle at the beginner level is to actually jump forward. By jumping forward, now the only way you're going to shoot to yourself is by having your follow through go a little bit more in this direction towards the basket. And so now the follow through is more real. And so instead of doing self shots straight up and down where you can catch it, do self shots slightly forward, that by the time that you actually jump and land and catch it, now you know you're actually shooting the ball in a forward direction as if you're shooting towards the basket. Those small subtle details are really what makes the difference. We're talking about giving players skills that will last. So start off nice and low, don't put it up in a spot, see how quickly you can shoot, just like we talked about with mirror shots. Shoot the basketball up and then catch the ball. Now, if your kid can't catch the basketball with one hand yet, that's perfectly fine. Let it bounce once. And so if I was to shoot it, I'm not going to put my follow through down until the basketball hits the floor. So I shoot it, I let it hit, and then I can catch it. Now, that would be some things that you can do to help with self shots, but just keep your emphasis on jumping a little bit forward, encouraging the basketball to go forward. Obviously, make sure that you're keeping your eyes on the basketball to make sure that you're protected, but this is a great way to start building some consistency with it and allow yourself to see how good your follow through and your mechanics of your shot are. And that wraps up another episode on our MLXT YouTube channel. And of course, we're going to be coming at you every single week at this exact same time with another beginner topic. Just remember, it's the amount of detail that really matters. And so even if you're older and you're more advanced, you can still use these types of methods and just add a little bit more detail to it to increase the advancement of it. Never let something be too basic for you. Instead, just get more detailed, and you can always get more out of simple methods just like this one.